more of them. Yay, I didn't break it. Okay, stop. Now I'm getting closer to the smaller pieces. I'm going to do my envelopes, and then we've got the smaller pieces to do. And then I can finish off, like I said, the envelopes another day. It's a lot easier when you do it in 2 steps like that, because otherwise it's, like I said, it's a long process doing multiple items. But I find that it's more rewarding to do many at once than to do this process like a few pages at a time. It's up to you guys. I mean, everybody's got their own method, but I find that if I do multiples, then it's easier afterwards to, I use them to do all sorts of other things. And I'm sure you're going and looking at this going, oh my god, especially if you haven't been watching me for a while, you haven't seen what I make with my Painty papers, so you're probably going, that's just a mess and a half. What can you do with something that messy? And I guess I would feel the same way if I had not done this multiple times and seen the results. This paper is going to, this deli paper is going to be pretty awesome afterwards. You can tell it's already really messy. It's got all kinds of nice colors, yummy colors on there. So I don't waste. Like, that paper is going to be used. Like I said, I usually use it in journals, and it makes a really fun page, colorful, and yes, yet it's transparent, so it's really cool. Put this one on top so I can put some extra color on that one as well. So I'm trying to cover the areas that I haven't done in the previous layering. And then I can take it from there. Got worried that my camera was finished, but the battery's about to die though. I don't understand why. Because it was plugged in, so I don't get it. Unless it got unplugged, which doesn't make sense. Unless this video is like so super long that's why. If it's going to be that long, I might actually have cut it in 2, so this might be part 2 that you're watching. I don't know. I guess I'll see. Because the longer it is, the longer time it takes to upload to YouTube. And when I'm using 2 cameras like this, it's also a lot longer to do the editing. Then I have to kind of cut and paste together. So this one I might actually go back and add some extra colors, but I'll see once it's dry how I feel about it. And once you've stamped it, it also changes it completely. So sometimes something that you think is going to require a lot more, at the end of the day, once everything is done, you really don't need it. Okay, so we've got the smaller pieces. And those I think we can do pretty easily, and probably all the way to the end. And by that I mean the stamping and the stenciling and that sort of thing. Okay. So these I use as my magnet base. And I'll choose whichever side is the prettiest, and that's going to be the side where the image is going to be. And on the other side I'll have the magnets. What's fun with this technique as well is that even if I use the same colors over and over and over again, it's never going to look exactly the same. I mean, my Painty paper, you can recognize it probably because it's kind of the way I layer the paints and stuff, but from one batch to the next it's never quite the same because I don't apply it necessarily exactly the same. It depends on how I feel in the day. So it's really, that's really the part that's fun for me, because it really changes from day to day. Okay, so these two I'm going to put aside to dry. And there I did it again. Twice. Okay, so I'm going to have to change those. I've got some other clips that are metal, and I'll put those on that hanger, and it's going to be a lot better because I won't be able to break it, contrary to this. But I have to admit though that I've been using it a lot, so that might be why as well, that it was cheap plastic to begin with. And this is also a great way of using cheap paint. It doesn't have to be fancy paints. So dollar store paints were great. But you can see what I meant by it. It's a long process. If you're only doing one piece, maybe not. But if you're doing multiple, it takes a bit of time, and you have to be ready to be messy. And my paintbrush are usually the cheap kind as well. I don't use expensive brushes for this. I'm terrible with my brushes. I tend to end up leaving them in the water and forgetting about them. Which is probably why I don't think of myself as an artist, but more as a crafter. In my head, a real artist would take care of their supplies probably a lot better than I do with mine. Okay, so we've done all 3 colors, and now it's a question of doing some stamping and some stenciling. That part is really fun, and it's not as messy usually. The messiest part we've done now. I'm just going to remove a bit of my paint from my fingers before I go and put it all over the place. Okay, so that's kind of better, kind of. Okay, now I'm gonna put some white paint here, and I'm gonna pull this out. I love using this thing that my dad gave me. It's a huge stamp, and I just think it's really interesting. I also like using stuff like this, but I think I'm going to be using this one this time around. And for that, I use some black archival ink. So let's pull out some of the drier pieces. Maybe these. Start with these and then move on to the other ones. So I usually do the black first, and I try to stamp it whichever way, because I don't want to be stuck after with a way that the words or whatever needs to be done. So I prefer doing it whichever. I find that it's a lot easier. And then, see, I love these mats, these silicone mats. It's using something that has nothing to do with art, but I love them. I've had an hexagon one, and I lost it, and I'm so sad. I don't know where it went. I don't know what I did with it, but I no longer have it. So that's a bummer. Okay, and then I'll go in. Oh, do I want to? That's also an option. Just using a regular bottle, and I have a smaller one too. So whatever you have along, just fun mark making. And already you can see it looks a whole lot different than when it started like this. So then the last step is to put some of the white, and you put it very lightly. And I have a bunch of French like this. I know Above Park Craft had some in her store. She's taking vacation right now. I don't know if by the time you see this video if she's going to be back, but she used to have them. And see, look at that. Isn't that fun? And it looks so much different now. And once you've put an image on top and you've edged the surface, then it's just a different little piece, and it doesn't look at all like the hot mess that it looked like just a bit before. So you have to be willing to go through the different steps in order to see the end result. But I love this background. I just find that these make awesome backgrounds that you can use in all sorts of things afterwards. Okay, so let's pull out these 3. Let's do these next 2. Just because when I'm stamping, it's kind of fun to be able to stamp on multiple items and not just having to pull it out every time. So then I need to do this side as well. I try to do both sides, like I said, just because. And then So no two pieces is going to be exactly the same, which is the fun part of it. My head anyway. And what's fun too is by using stuff like this to make it, you make it your own paper, so there's nobody that can put a trademark on it. So I will probably, once I finish making some of the painty papers, I will probably scan it, and then I can use it as backgrounds for something I want to make later. I want to do more digital art. I haven't done that yet, but that's something that I really want to get into. There's so much that so little time. Too much time is spent at work. And I mean too much. Like, I stay late. One of my employees asked me, she's a new employee, and she hasn't seen me when I actually take a lunch. So these days I'm taking 15 minutes maybe to stop and eat, if I remember. So she actually asked me if I ever actually take lunch, which took me by surprise because I didn't expect that question. But I guess she's right. I haven't been taking my lunches, which is not good. It's not good for my mind. It's not good for my body either. But yeah, I tend to forget. Okay, and then just do a bit of this. And what's fun with these is that because they're little circles, when you pull out the little circles from the sheet, you're only going to get a tiny little portion of this. So it makes a really fun embellishment to a page, or to ETC, or to which is an artist trading card, in case you don't know what an ATC is, or you could use it for an artist trading coin. Really makes it a lot of fun. Okay. Whoops, I forgot to put the white. Okay, so do that, and then my white. And I think these are really pretty. And this, like I said, you're going to see me use. It's just journaling out of the box, for sure. I have 4 pieces left, so let's see if I can squeeze them all in and do them all at the same time. So. And we're almost finished. But like I said, I don't know if this is going to be a 2-part video, or if it was all in one video. Really depends on how long it was, because I've got a feeling that it's really long. I think I've seen the camera that's in front of me start at least 2 times. That means almost 40 minutes. So I probably did split this into 2 videos. Okay, so this one is finished. I'm going to put that away, just so it leaves me more room to put stuff. So even like the same set will have different look. Now these ones are a little bit less dry, but it's okay. We've got this left to do, and I'm thinking that I might want, actually I should put this away, and then I can put these away too before they dry, because now I know that I'm not going to be using them on this. They're fine the way they are. So I'm thinking I might want to spray some, or at least splash some shine on these. This would be fun. So something shiny. Okay, so that's the white. That's all done. So now I do have my ID swap, and I completely clogged it, so I can't use the spray anymore. But I can just kind of splash it around. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to let them dry. Which is why I did this at the end, so that I can let it dry naturally. Because otherwise, if I use my glue gun, my heat gun, it's gonna just kind of spread, and it won't do the look I was looking for. So depending on when I'm actually airing this out, these little sheets of stickers will be in my Etsy store. So if you're interested, go and check it out. The link to my Etsy shop is always in the description box below. So this was the messy fun that we had. I hope you've enjoyed. I know a lot of you guys said that you liked seeing that, so let me know what you think. If this is something you want me to continue sharing with you guys, or if you've seen enough of it and you're like, okay, it's enough. We've seen it. We know what you do, and that's good. So yeah, that's it, everyone. Bye.